Hi friends, it's Amberly with Mountain Tribe Homestead, and welcome back to another video where I take you along throughout a week in our life and kind of let you know what we've been up to and whatnot. So this week I started out getting some garlic that I needed to preserve because it was starting to sprout. So I just took some garlic, I peeled it, and I put it in the food processor. I added some oil and just got it all chopped up pretty good. This is just a fast, easy way to do it instead of mincing it. So with the food processor, I just had it go for a little while, and then I scraped the sides down and then turned it on for a little bit longer to kind of make sure it's all even, and it kind of forms like this paste in a way. And so I just took that and I took an old ice cube tray that I have had for 17 years, and I just take this garlic kind of paste and I scoop it into the ice cream, or not the ice cream, the ice cube tray, and get it all level in each little pod. And the 7-year-old saw me doing something interesting and decided she wanted to come help. So here she is helping me out. That's one of her favorite things to do, is be in the kitchen. So we're getting it all scooped out and put into this ice cube tray, and I'm going to take it and put it in the freezer and kind of flash freeze it. And then when it's frozen, you can take it out and put it in a Ziploc bag, and it makes these little pods that you can just pull out and put in your pan whenever you're cooking something up. So there it is. It went in the freezer and it came out. They did not come out this easy. It was a little bit of work. I just couldn't do it with both hands, so I got these ones kind of already wiggled out and then just showed you. They come out and you put them in the Ziploc bag and then keep it in the freezer, and then pull out a little cube when you're cooking and you need some extra garlic flavor and you don't have any garlic, and put it in the tray. And here's Echo hanging out, barking at the cat. The cat has no idea what to do. She's probably thankful that gate's there. So this has still been a very big part of our life, is this puppy, but Luca and Echo are best friends and they do not like being apart. So one of the things that I made this week was some bread. And I took an opportunity, I had a little bit of extra time and took an opportunity to try out a new recipe. So I mixed all the ingredients together, the first set of ingredients, and kind of let the yeast get bubbly, and then I added in the dry ingredients and got it all mixed up with a spoon best I could, and then I had to start using my hand, and then it needed to get turned out onto the counter and I needed to start kneading it. So here I am getting the dough kneaded up and put it into a bowl, and I oiled the bowl up and I covered it up, and it sat there for quite a very long time. It rose up a little bit, but not nearly like any of the other recipes I do. So I went ahead and I just punched it down what it did rise up to, and then I shaped it up and put it into the pan. I oiled the pan up and decided to leave that out for a while and let that rise. And I let that rise for a good while, a very good while. And this dough, I don't know what was going on. I don't know if I did something wrong or what, but this dough would not rise. And I let it rise longer than most doughs that I've done. So it did not turn out the way that I expected it to. I mean, I kind of expected it to turn out kind of crappy, but I wanted it to be better. I was hoping for the best, but it did not turn out the way I wanted it to. So I decided I do not like wasting things in the kitchen, I do not like kitchen waste, so I try to prevent that as much as possible. So me and the 7-year-old decided to take on that challenge and try to use it in a French toast casserole. I've never had a French toast casserole. I've had French toast many times in my life, but a French toast casserole I have not. So we whipped up the mixture and decided to chop up that bread and put it in a casserole dish and kind of pour the mixture over top of it and hope for the best. So that's what we did. So she's just mixing it up here and checking out the window, and there's the 16-year-old hanging out with Echo, our new puppy. Everything we do, Echo's not far away. So we just get this all mixed up and we are pouring it over top of the bread. And like I said, I just chopped it up into little hunks. I greased up the casserole dish, and as you can see, it didn't really fill up the dish with as much liquid as I liked. So I added a little bit more milk into there, and I just kind of tossed the bread around in the liquid with my hands. And then I sprinkled sugar over top and cinnamon over top and put hunks of butter over the top. And I actually let this sit in the fridge overnight. I prepped this the night before so that in the morning I could just put it in the oven. And there it is, finished. And we took powdered sugar to go across the top. This turned out amazing. It was so good. I definitely think that next time I'm going to use more liquid, but we just drizzled syrup over top of it. Some of us didn't even use syrup, but some of us did. And this recipe was unplanned. This was not on my meal plan for the week. This kind of replaced another breakfast I had planned, but this was me preventing kitchen waste. So another meal we had this week for a late lunch, early dinner was chicken Rice A Roni. And I have these jars that I got, everything mixed up. It's homemade, it's DIY, and I just put it in a mason jar, and I have the spices in that Ziploc bag in there, and I put the Ziploc bag in there. That way it's kind of like a meal that you can just dump and go. I cooked up some chicken breast, and I got this Rice A Roni cooking. Before I put the chicken breast in there, I toasted up the noodles and rice in butter, and then I think I added 4 cups of water. I normally only add 3, but I added an extra cup because I figured that chicken breast was going to soak up the liquid, and it did. And I actually needed to add another cup, so it was a total of 5 cups of water, believe it or not. This is just the beginning stages of getting everything mixed in the pot together after I toasted the rice and noodles and added the spices. And so throughout the day, I just had this cooking on low for a while, and it thickened up, and this really thickened up, and it absorbed all that liquid. Like I said, I had to add another cup of liquid in there. But instead of water, sometimes I use broth. I actually have broth, but this was me being lazy, and I just used water on this day. But this meal turned out incredible. We love this meal. So we had some warm days this week and some rainy days, and we had quite a few mornings that were extra foggy. The mountain was foggy. I one evening had my Azure standard pickup. I order in bulk from Azure, and I ordered cocoa powder, and I ordered beef gelatin, and I ordered Himalayan salt. I actually only ordered 1 cocoa powder. They sent me 2 by accident, and they did not send me my Himalayan salt. So I called them up and they got it all fixed for me, but I didn't have much of a big order this time because I did order that huge 5-gallon jug of dish soap that's going to hopefully last us for an entire year. I ordered these beets. I love these beets. They're usually bigger than this, but these are delicious. If you like beets, I'm a huge fan of beets, and I will sit down and eat a few beets. I just toss them in oil and put salt and pepper on them and put them in a little tinfoil pouch and kind of roast them in the oven. I got two food storage buckets. Oh, I can't talk. And I got the lids to go with them, and they just kind of twist on and off. And so this with every order this year, I'm going to start getting a couple of these buckets because I do have food storage. I just would like to start using these 5-gallon buckets instead of what I'm doing right now. If you watched my last video of the 2 weeks in the life of us taking you along, you would have seen that we picked up some jars from a local sandwich shop. And these are the gallon jars that I got from them, and my goal this year is to use them for water glassing eggs. All of the labels came off very, very easy, but this one label was a little more difficult to come off. But with some hot water, it just that hot water melted the glue enough to where the label decided to just peel off pretty easy. And I'm really excited for this. We ran out of eggs this fall a few times. Our chickens laid for the entire year, but they did take little breaks here and there. And I think that water glassing eggs will kind of fill in those gaps of where we're not getting eggs from the hens. So these labels were very, very hard to get off. But again, all I used was some very hot sink water, and it melted the glue, and the label peeled right off. It did leave some residue on the jar, but that just scrubbed right off. It wasn't difficult at all. And in every video, you will see that we are making jam rolls. This is a weekly thing. I make refrigerator dough once a week. The recipe is from Homesteading Family, and once a week I use that refrigerator dough and make jam rolls. This week I used what was supposed to be apple jelly. I did a batch of apple jelly and it didn't set up, and it just was like a thick apple syrup, and so I used that instead. Again, preventing kitchen waste. This batch was not the prettiest batch. This is not my best work of rolls, but you know what? They were delicious and they turned out amazing. And you can see they really expanded and puffed up. The apple jelly was it came all to the bottom. It didn't stay all the way on the dough. So it really went down into the bottom of the pan. But that apple jelly the apple syrup was perfect on there. I'm still in puppy mode, and so there's quite a few days where I'm reaching for meals that do not take a lot of thought or effort, and this is one of those meals. I'm just frying up some simple potatoes I lost my train of thought. Frying up some simple potatoes and roasting some beets to go along with some leftovers because I am so exhausted on quite a few days because the puppy dog needs to have some attention in the middle of the night. And I already wake up between 4:30 and 5:30 in the morning, so going to bed late and waking up in the middle of the night on top of waking up extra early is very exhausting some days, and I just need an easy meal to pop in the oven where I don't have to be on my feet. And as you can see, these little doggies are very entertaining. They're here Luca is very well behaved. He knows everything, but you get that puppy dog around him and he totally forgets all of his everything. Like telling him to sit, it takes him so long to sit. He gets so distracted with her around, but he's usually very good with that stuff. But having her around, trying to teach her how to sit, and he's the one being all hyped up, and she's there sitting. Look at him with his tongue hanging out of his mouth. But they do their puppy school almost every day. And the girls do their school. And they have puppy school, and they have doggy puzzles that they do, and they play ball constantly, and they play with each other. And Luca gets to go on a walk almost every morning, as long as the weather's okay. I don't like walking in the rain unless I have to. But this is a big part of every day right now, is this puppy and interacting with them and making sure they are getting along okay. I went on an adventure with my parents. It was just me and my parents. I got to get away without any kids, and this was pretty enjoyable. We went to West Virginia and drove around and just went on a ride in the Jeep. And it was so beautiful. And it was pretty remote. So just driving in the woods and enjoying nature. And it started snowing a little bit while we were there. But it was so peaceful, and there was lots of really, really cool looking trees. And a lot of this land just is untouched for so long. But I really enjoyed spending time with my parents and just getting out and taking a break from puppy land for a bit. So this was a great day. This was an early morning one day that we did this. And then I came back home and decided I was craving something sweet for once. It wasn't my kids, it was me. So I pulled out the ingredients and decided I'm going to whip up some brownies, some homemade brownies. And I tried a new recipe. I couldn't find the recipe I normally use, so I tried a different recipe because I just gave up with looking. And I'm just getting all these ingredients and gonna throw them in the bowl and mix them up. So I had flour and sugar and oil and vanilla and baking powder and cocoa and eggs, and got them all mixed up. The texture of this recipe was different than what I'm used to. The flavor was really good, but the texture was very different. So I added in some powdered sugar on top. I don't normally put powdered sugar on my brownies, and I don't know why I did it this time. And my kids actually asked me why I put powdered sugar on it this time, but I thought it was good. And I threw together this delicious country boneless pork ribs, and I just threw a bunch of stuff in there, and it was like brown sugar and barbecue sauce and Worcestershire, which I'm probably saying that word wrong, garlic, butter, oil, paprika, salt, pepper, and no, it wasn't salt, it was seasoned salt. And did I say brown sugar? I'm not sure, but it turned out amazing. They were moist. They had a nice glaze on them, as you can see. But everyone loved them. It smelled really funny in the house, but they turned out way better than they smelled. And so everybody was really happy with this dinner. And then we also, every day, again, have entertainment. You are going to be seeing puppy videos, puppy little videos inserted into these videos on YouTube for a while, because this is just what our life is. And here she is. She's chasing her tail. She's in that stage where she's figuring her tail out, and here she was. We just thought this was so funny. She was sitting there chewing on her tail and chasing her tail and running in circles and flipping all around, just being a crazy dog. But again, this is a big part of our life right now, so until we get back on routine, hopefully I will start getting more sleep and remembering to record things. But this is it for this time. Thanks for watching, friends, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.